when most people think of landscape lighting, they tend to think of something like this. This is your standard hardware store, low voltage landscape light. Install a few of these, and it makes most people's yard look pretty great. But when Disney thinks of landscape lighting, they tend to think a little bit bigger. This is a commercial light fixture, still low voltage, but this is computer controlled, significantly brighter, and can be changed to pretty much any color and any brightness in just a mere few seconds with a couple of clicks of a computer or a pre-programmed routine. Things like this, or the one you see behind me here, are what allow Disney to change their lighting, change their mood for parades, events, and just to highlight architectural features around the park. So we decided, why don't we just use some of these in our yard? All right, guys, so it's been a very, very long road to get here. A significant amount of research, reading through everything we could find, visits to the parks, lots of photos of the fixtures. It's not super easy to figure out what exactly Disney uses, or any theme park for that matter. Some of this is on purpose. They like to keep things as secret as possible. They don't want brands known. They don't want types of fixtures and angles and beam angles and colors to be copied. So they want it to be fairly difficult. Some of it is just because, I mean, this stuff is fairly niche product, and it's not exactly like you're just going to run out and get it at your generic store down the street. So after a whole lot of research, we ended up finding a few fixtures that in kind of a roundabout way actually appeared on places like wholesale websites, on eBay, and just up for general auction. So we managed to get a hold of quite a few of these, and I decided to see what exactly I could do with these in my own yard. Now, some of these fixtures, like this is a Blast 12 fixture, are fairly bright, and these are actually things that you will see for architectural features on many bridges, buildings in cities across the world. So Disney uses very similar light fixtures to this for things like their castles and their architectural features along walls and in rides and, you know, just general lighting. The one that's over my shoulder here is actually a linear bar, which is the little brother of the same type of fixture used around a lot of the walls for the castle in Disney World. So after trying quite a few of these out, we settled on the Color Burst 4 and the Color Blast 12 and IW, which is Intelligent White 12. So a lot of these fixtures scattered around the yard kind of seem to have very small light output at first. But when you get enough of them and you aim them correctly and have the correct beam angles on them, the impact is pretty amazing. So we've been working for quite a few months, if not, honestly, years worth of research and just general labor. We've been putting in conduit around our yard with special boxes to allow us access to the wires. We had to come up with multiple ways of using things that weren't how they were intended to be used. So the power supplies we ended up getting were not actually outdoor rated power supplies. They had to be modified and put in special enclosures so that they would be within reach of the light fixtures that we chose to use. We ended up running around 1,000 feet or so of outdoor direct burial cable, using significant amounts of conduit, digging up most of the yard, honestly. And what we ended up with was pretty spectacular. So we have a system now that uses Ethernet and wireless DMX to each of the power supplies and can control the light fixtures independently. It can control the brightness of them, it can control the color mixing of them, and it can control groups or, as I said, any fixture that we want to talk to completely separate from all of the other ones. So this allows us to address each fixture and set a tone, a mood for the area where it is, tweak the adjustment and the brightness for how tall certain features are, like trees, or if it's accenting an architectural feature, something like that. We are able to adjust it and control exactly how we want it to look, even after the fixtures are installed. So we've placed a few of these fixtures about 15 feet or so in the air. We've placed them on the ground, shining up on trees. We've placed them on outbuildings and general features, our pergola, things like this around our yard, and adjusted them. And then we've gone back in with our laptop and adjusted all of the lighting and all of the brightnesses to exactly where we wanted them to be. Now we're using a separate controller that we got, known as an iPlayer 3, that is specifically for large-scale controlled RGB, so red, green, blue, light fixture installations. And this allows us, without any computer or anything, to store multiple shows that can be triggered or accessed with the front panel. So we actually can program in holiday routines for Halloween, for Christmas, and just for general outdoor use, grilling out, entertaining. And at the flip of a switch or press of a button, we can completely change the entire atmosphere. So all of these fixtures are completely weatherproof. Things like this have to be, especially with Disney down in Florida and places like Universal. When they install these, they've got to work day in, day out, rain or shine, through severe weather and hurricanes, and they have to put on a great show every single time they're called upon. So we didn't feel like there'd be any problem in our yard, which is wonderful. So every year for Halloween, we do a walk-through haunt or a display with our yard for neighbors and people in the area. And we've had significant amounts of rain in the past. So the significant amounts of rain were not necessarily a problem when people were ready to come. But leading up to this, we didn't have any time to put out light fixtures or some decor because it would be ruined. We couldn't put out any kind of computer-controlled light. That was just unthinkable to have something that's so electrical out in rain. So this allows us year-round to have our landscape lighting and have it be an extremely enjoyable place to entertain and to relax. But when called upon, once again, we can press a button and all of a sudden we've got our entire holiday lighting set up for any occasion we can think of. If we want to throw a party during the holidays and do reds and greens and golds, this is not a problem. Or reds and blues and pastels and purples, things like this at Halloween, we're just a touch of a button away. We've managed to put enough light out that it is quite easy to actually walk around the space, to be able to see and enjoy things, but it's not overwhelming. It is definitely an architectural feature. Considering years and years ago what had to be done with changing of bulbs or gels over fixtures and things, it's just amazing to me that you can get something this advanced, this controllable, and completely weatherproof and really commercial for such a low price on the used market even. These are things that are not being readily installed. These are things that in some cases are being readily removed from places that are closing down. And so this was just so doable that it actually surprised us, and I think we're really happy with the result. So if you guys have any questions, we'd love to hear them. Comment down below. If you like this video and you want to see more, because we're definitely doing more as far as our Disney audio, how we've put sound throughout our property with different zones and things, and just general decor and how some of our props and landscaping and things like that work. So if you want to see that, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for watching, and enjoy.